Dennis from the University of Liverpool. I'm going to talk about how to get the Liverpool Python Robotics Simulator up and running if you've not managed to get any of the various instructions to do with Python paths working. This is not particularly pretty, but it should work in most situations. So I'm assuming that you have already downloaded and unzipped the Python simulator and that you have been attempting to get the Python path set. If you're on your Unix system, you've been trying to set your .bashrc or your .bash profile correctly, and if you are on Windows, you've been trying to set the user variable or edit the pysim starter.bat file, and none of this has been working successfully for you. So this is the last resort for trying to get this all running. So what you need to do is you need two idle windows. So idle should have come with your Python distribution. I can start it here from Launchpad in Mac. You should be able to find it in Programs on the Windows machine. So here's my first idle window. Because I'm on a Mac, all the menu options are up here at the top. If you're on Windows, you should have menu options here. Now, the Mac won't actually let me start this twice from Launchpad, so I'm going to have to open a terminal window. And I'm going to have to type idle here. And I'm going to type idle 3. That is because I actually have several versions of Python on my system and I want to make sure I get the right one. You should be able to just type idle. And there I have a second idle window. If you're in Windows, you should just be able to start two versions of idle running. So I have here two versions of idle. So in this first version window, I'm going to open a file and I'm going to open the Python simulator. So I'm going to where I've installed the Python simulator. Because I'm on Mac OS, I'm going to have to start pysim osx.py, which is this one here. If you're on Windows or Linux, then you want to start pysim.py. So I'm going to select that and open it. And then up here, I'm going to select Run and Run Module. And here's the Python simulator. I now don't need this idle window, so I'm just going to minimize it. I don't need this pysim osx file, so I'm just going to minimize it. I'm now just going to worry about this window here. Selecting this robot, starting simulation, and I'm good to go with the simulator. Now in this window, this is where I want to be able to program the simulator. If you follow the instructions from the workbook, which tell you to type import simclient.simrobot as PyToGo, then you get an error. So you're getting this error which says module not found error. And that's because you haven't managed to set the Python path. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to open a file. And this one, in Pyro, the simulator, is called setupprogramming.py. So I'm opening that and then I am going to run it. Don't need that again, so I'm just going to minimize that. What this has done is it has set the path to the Python simulator. So now if I type import simclient.simrobot as PyToGo, then I don't get an error message. And now I can initialize my robot. I can send it commands. So this is sending it a command to move forward 10. You can see it moving, and I can tell it to stop. Now, when you're working on the system, in this idle window, you shouldn't have to open setupprogramming.py again. But if you exit the window because you need to go away, and then you come back and you want to start using the simulator again, then once again, you're going to have to open setupprogramming.py and run that to set the path. When you get to the chapter in the workbooks which starts teaching you about programming in files. That's chapter 6 in the Oxnet workbook. So it is, here we are, chapter 6, programs in files. You are going to have to do a little bit more work to get the paths working. There are some instructions here, and there is another video on this channel which explains how to get the paths sorted out for your programming in a file.